Welcome to another new episode of the Get Organised with Decluttr Me podcast with myself, Shelina. I hope you're well wherever you are in the world. Whether this is the first time you're listening or you've been following along for a while, I'm absolutely delighted to have you here. Thank you so much for being part of this journey with me. It truly means the world to me. Your support allows me to continue sharing my love for decluttering and organising every week. And it's a privilege to help you create a more organised and clutter-free space. If you're enjoying this podcast, I'd love for you to spread the word. Just hit follow, subscribe, or like on your podcast app, share it with your friends, or drop me a review to let me know what you think. Today, I'm really excited to introduce to you a brand new challenge that might just change the way you look at your day-to-day decisions. It's called the No November Challenge, and yes, it's exactly as it sounds. We're going to be saying no, and I mean a lot of it. But this isn't about being negative. Instead, it's about giving ourselves a boundary reset, focusing on what we truly need and finding a bit of clarity in our spaces, our schedules, and our minds. So why say no? In a world that pushes us to say yes to everything, from social invites to the latest gadgets, we often find ourselves overwhelmed with stuff, not just in our homes, but in our minds. This challenge is all about pausing and asking, do I really need this? Whether it's that enticing sale on a kitchen gadget or agreeing to a social event out of obligation, it's amazing how quickly these yeses keep piling up. Saying no, though, can be surprisingly liberating. It lets you reclaim your space, your time, and even your peace of mind. When you say no to things that don't align with your goals or values, you make room for what does. So in the spirit of No November, we're going to embrace the art of refusal in a way that reduces clutter, both physically and mentally. So let's start with shopping. We're constantly bombarded with ads, discounts, and reminders that if we don't buy something now, we might miss out. But here's the thing. There's always another sale. There's always another discount. This month, I challenge you to say no to buying things unless they're absolutely necessary. Try this exercise with me. Before you hit add to cart or head to the shops, take a moment and ask yourself a few questions. Do I really need this item right now? Do I already own something similar that could serve the same purpose? Would buying this actually improve my day-to-day life or just give me a quick buzz? An example could be that trendy kitchen appliance you've been eyeing, let's say an air fryer. Unless you're completely committed to changing the way you cook, think about it. Is it a tool that will simplify your life or just take up valuable countertop space? Let's say no to impulsive buys and instead try finding fulfillment in what we already have. You'd be amazed at the feeling of freedom that comes from choosing less. Now let's talk about saying no to people. In the nicest way possible, of course. Social obligations, invites, even casual requests from colleagues, family, and friends can end up cluttering our schedules. Have you ever agreed to a coffee catch-up or a group dinner just because you didn't want to let someone down, even though you knew it would drain your energy? Here's an example if you're usually the go-to person for organising family get-togethers or are the one friends turn to when they need to vent. It's okay to put up some boundaries. You could say something like, I'd love to catch up this month, but I'm focusing on some personal projects, so let's plan something in December. Or let's say a friend invites you to a dinner that requires a lot of time and maybe even a bit of cash. It's okay to say, I'd love to catch up with you, but can we do something simpler or maybe just meet for a coffee? When we free up time in our calendars, we free up mental space. And that's what No November is all about, creating room for ourselves. Now, if there's one area where saying no can be incredibly tough but rewarding, it's in the workplace. From projects to after-hour requests, our work lives are often cluttered because we feel compelled to say yes to everything. But sometimes saying yes to a request can mean saying no to your own productivity. Imagine a situation where a colleague asks for help with a project you're not involved in. Instead of automatically agreeing to this, try this. Say, I'd love to help, but I'm focusing on my own priorities right now. Maybe we can revisit this if I get some spare time later on. No November doesn't mean shirking responsibilities, but being mindful about where we put our energy. A big part of No November is about cutting back on digital clutter as well. This includes saying no to things that clutter your digital space, like unnecessary emails, app notifications, or even time on social media. I suggest using this month to unsubscribe from email lists that don't add value, turn off notifications that pull you away from the present, and say no to time-wasting apps. Just last week, I went through my inbox and was shocked by how many newsletters I hadn't opened in ages. And turning off notifications? Game changer. Saying no to these digital distractions is a brilliant way to free up mental space. Finally, let's talk about mental clutter. This is all the unnecessary worry, overthinking, and stress that we often take on because we're holding on to too much. Try saying no to tasks that drain you mentally or no longer align with your goals. If you're worrying about something that isn't directly in your control, practice letting go. A quick tip here is to start a worry list. So write down things you're stressing over and then go through each one and ask yourself if it's really worth your energy or if it's something you can let go of for now. So to recap, the No November Challenge is a month of intentional refusals. We're saying no to unnecessary purchases, no to social obligations that drain us, no to digital clutter, and even no to our own overthinking. By doing this, we're creating space in our homes, our minds, and our schedules for what truly, truly matters. Take this month as an opportunity to reset your boundaries. Imagine entering December with a lighter mind, a less cluttered home, and more energy for what truly brings you joy, which is Christmas decorations and Christmas food, right? That's it for today's episode. I hope the No November Challenge inspires you to say no in ways that bring you clarity and peace to your life. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you try this challenge, let me know how it goes. You can connect with me on social media or through our website, which is down here. And it's to Decluttr Me if you're listening. And until next time, happy decluttering and happy No November. Take care. Bye.